The Fix Pad cast in hot water with social media after a recent interview which featured social media sensation CMR and a whole entire situation that went down with him and his stepdaughter, in which he was charged with an offense. Hi again and welcome. This is Links 007 TV. Let's talk, and we're about to discuss this on the program. If it's the first time you're watching, please remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell and click on all so you're always updated with our latest report. Welcome back and thanks for joining us for Links 007 TV Let's Talk. This is the place where we discuss issues of national importance, global importance, other situations that are buzzing in the news. The fix is on the serious questioning right now based on a recent interview that was done with Kushane Carter, aka CMR, as most of you would have known him on social media, goes by that name. So this situation now stems from a recent incident that took place in Florida, where he was charged for lewd conduct which involved his stepdaughter allegedly. This has now been dismissed by the court, and the Jamaican vlogger Kushane Carter, also known as CMR, was arrested back in last year on November the 2nd in Orange County, Florida, where he was taken into custody based on these offenses that were outlined in a police report. Carter has over 330,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel, The Carter Family, and according to booking information shared on social media in last year, Carter had faced his charges of lewd and lascivious molestation, and reports suggest that the case had involved his stepdaughter. So Kushane Carter had his bond set at $7,500 US, which is approximately over $1 million Jamaican dollars. So this adds to Carter's prior legal issues, including a 2021 domestic battery charge following a dispute with his wife Chrissy, reportedly over finances. So a recent interview which was conducted by the Fix podcast has been trending on social media based on comments made and questions that were left out of the whole entire interview. So different people have been weighing in about the whole entire situation, stating that the Fix podcast is actually biased about their questioning in relation to the incident that took place sometime last year, which involves his stepdaughter. People are also questioning the authenticity of the questions asked and also the responses that were given to certain questions. People have been saying that questions were deliberately left out based on the fact that CMR and the Nightly Fix teams are actually close friends. This is, however, allegedly, because based on the interview session that took place, people are of the assumption that many questions should have been asked were left out purposefully based on the fact that they did not want to infringe on his personal issues that were actually taking place and what has blown up on social media. The case, which has since been recently dismissed, is still fresh on the hearts and minds of many, and so many individuals have been weighing in on the whole entire issue, whether or not the child was lying or whether or not the family just tried to protect this individual from the whole entire backlash that was awaited him outside of everything that has been taking place. However, with that said, we're about to divulge deeper into the actual interview right now that took place, which has gone viral on social media, and hoping to shed some more light on this whole entire issue that has blown up and seemed to not be cooling down anytime soon. I am not here to be the judge, neither am I here to be the jury. However, based on what I saw on that interview, I believe that the Nightly Fix actually dropped a catch on this one, or basically this was purposely done in order not to ruin the friendship between the two. As you know, Naro is that individual who would have asked some real intriguing questions, and basically Naro was so relaxed in this interview based on what the comment section are saying and what people are actually relaying, and my whole entire personal experience as it relates to watching that interview which was conducted. There were many key questions that could have been asked. However, based on the fact that it was an interview, I think this interview was just actually staged in order for some views or something, based on the fact that some questions that could have been asked were left out of this interview. When I watched the whole entire interview session and saw what Kushane said about this young girl, that she's a nice, caring, understanding child, that she listens to him, and the whole entire thing that is going on social media relating to the charges that were laid against him. If a child is so good and obedient towards you, if the child was all that and more as stated in the interview, why someone of this nature would want to tell such a drastic lie on you? In order, what was there to gain from the whole entire situation when you actually contemplate and look on the whole thing that has went down? If a child is at that stage in her life, she must know what is going on. She's quite aware of her surrounding and the whole entire situation as it relates to what is right from what is wrong. So when we analyze this interview with the Fix, and I analyze the whole entire perception of that interview, it's very clear that certain key questions should have been asked. And also as it relates to a camera being placed in her room, many people are questioning that whole entire situation as to why a camera was placed in the child's room in order to monitor what were they monitoring. So there are so many different questions that should have been asked, and the Fix actually dropped the catch on this one based on the fact that they might have been friends and they don't want to basically infringe on the friendship or blow the whole entire situation out of proportion. But this is what I have to say. Some of the time we see situations like these going down and happening all over. This is not the first, it's not going to be the last. This will be happening over and over again. We hear kids talking about these things of being molested in their homes, and also different situations that have taken place outside of the home. And most of the time the kids are the one who are falling victim to the whole entire thing, because they are the one that are not being believed about what is happening to them, and then they are the one that have this trauma to deal with for the rest of their life. This is just so sad though, with the whole entire situation that has went down as it relates to this child, and then the whole entire case itself being dismissed, and we're not hearing anything like coming out from the family, and they say their life is like an open book. And in a real case, it's not really an open book, it's a partially open book, because many people out there now are questioning the whole entire situation. What really transpired with this case that caused it to throw out of court, and what really happened that caused these charges to have been laid in the very first instance. Was the child actually lying and this was found out? We are not sure what is actually taking place as it relates to this, but the interview itself did not shed much light on the whole entire thing that has went down. And I know that they did not want to divulge into much details as it relates to that, and it was very clear how the interview was actually structured, and the questions seem as if they were pre-planned in order to ask this individual. They were not off the head questions based on what I saw in the interview, and people are questioning Netflix as it relates to this. Why this interview was conducted in this manner. People wanted to hear. This is like the first time he has actually came public in order to address the issue, and he did not really address the issue. He actually shied away from most of the questions. Even at some point during the interview, he actually states that he will actually answer some of these questions off air. Now that triggered many red flags in people's mind right now, based on the fact that this was an interview. Why you want to answer these questions off air when you're actually on air? And these are some of the issues now that people are actually stating about the interview. They should not have allowed him to answer these questions off the air, and the whole entire perception of what took place in the interview, that it was not clear as it relates to what actually transpired that led him to be charged. He did not divulge any real details as it relates to the case itself and why the child would want to state such a thing about him. But one thing you have to know, that this child is growing, she's becoming older, She has a platform for herself, and one of these days we might just hear the truth. The truth will come out based on what I saw in that actual interview. So much more needs to be said about this case, and many people are questioning now the authenticity of the interview as it relates to the fix conducting this interview. Now I know that most people want to interview him right now, but he's not going to basically just go and give anybody an interview based on certain pertinent questions that are going to be asked. He's going to shy away from actually the whole social media thing and basically just focus on doing his own personal videos based on the backlash that he has got from this interview, which was actually conducted on the Fix podcast.
But you see, the thing is, that's what he's saying, is not to abandon your role as a parent, a father. It's just to leave the situation, the romantic situation with you.
Can't do that. I'm a lover.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Look, you know, if you see me shoot a man, you know, and them say, yo, you murdered a brother there, you know, all right then, me guilty. So me I go just do something and run away.
I never see you do nothing, say, man.
No, you never see. I'm glad you never see.
I'm just saying.
So, but if you know, say, Tom murdered a brother there, and Tom, them a come for Tom I go run with everything in Pitney, mother and wife, everything. What me I run with for? No, man, I'm mad, man. You know, as a man, you know, you go through some things in your life, you know. And you stand firm for your youth, them see. You see, when you stand firm for your youth, them see, and them see that and say, oh, me see daddy go through this, me see mommy go through this, and I'm there. So I have to represent for my family, myself, and everybody in the household. I can't walk away, me not see that, man. Once you have life, you know. You see, once you have life, it's like the greatest thing, man.
Yeah.
Right through the interview, if you listen CMR, he keep on stating that this child is actually his daughter. He did not shy away from being the father of this child or the stepdad of this child. He keep on owning up to that responsibility. But if I was in his position and a child actually stated such a thing on me, considering said that did not happen at all, I would not be owning up to that child. Yourself with such a person who you state would have allegedly stated some derogatory things about you, things that could have landed you in jail for years. I would not want to be a share and part in that household. I would not feel comfortable at all. And this is why people are actually now stating, why would you want to go back in a situation such of that if that wasn't the case, or something like that didn't happen, or you weren't at fault? So these are just some of the questions that people are asking, because I personally, I would be fearful of going back to that household, associating myself. Nothing I would not want to do with that whole entire family right now.
And you claim, and funny, and he's still up to, in this interview, you're claiming her as your actual, it seemed like biological daughter. No,
I'm gonna tell you something. You see that little girl there? Me not feel talk much, but I'm say it on it. You see that little girl here is one of the best child you can ask. If I raise all my voice, she know. You know? She know, like, daddy, you know, kids love take attention. Yeah. No, man, she know depend, she listen, she obedient, you know. So, yeah, man, one of the best daughters you can ask her, you know. It's just that, as me tell you, say, as your parent, you know, when you become one, you see me?
Listen to how CMR actually spoke about the child in this section of the interview. At no point in time did CMR make it seem as if this child was an indisciplined child, if this child was actually a liar. He did not portray the child to be in no way or form such as this. So if this child is so good, why then would this child want to accuse you of such a thing, considering the fact that she looked up to you as a father figure and you have not stated anything negative about her? So this good child just gone bad? It doesn't make any sense. So listen when the Fix asked this question to CMR and how he responded to this question.
It's good that you have that. It's good that you have that mindset. But I wanted to ask though, like, since they dropped the case, what's the current situation like now? Is it tense? Is it awkward? How is it with the children and Chrissy?
I can answer that half here. Reason why, because I say everybody I try use every little thing to make a content, and them not do it in a way where it's fair and balanced. It's more so me never want this to happen. This me want. And me I judge and me I lie and me I juror.
I get
So
you.
for me, if me answer that naturally now, the man, you know. But after here, me can tell you, you know what I mean. But what me can say on here though is this: I'm a great father, and I will never abandon none of my youth them. All of them. You notice how I take phone and know say it's a stepchild.
So with that question was asked, CMR basically shy away totally from that question, stating that he will answer that question off air. And this is what I did not like with the interview itself. And people are actually raising more questions than answers as it relates to why this interview was conducted in such a manner. So based on what I've drawn from that interview, people are actually stating, and my own personal assumption of the interview and what people are saying in the streets, on social media, and the whole entire network that has been going on around this entire issue. People are actually stating that based on the fact they might be have a little doubt about what actually transpired, but after this interview, people are just stating that they are 100% behind the girl, that they actually believe. So these are just some of the things that people are actually looking into and weighing on right now based on what transpired in this interview. People are saying that this interview, it wasn't clear, it wasn't concise, it wasn't well structured, and the fix now, they're actually getting a total social media beating. So when we look on this whole entire thing that has blown up on social media, it's very sad and it's very ironic that these things keep happening over and over again. But this is not going to be the first, it's not going to be the last, and we have to just be mindful of what is going on around us as it relates to these things. These things have been happening from years ago, and it's just one of those things that really edge on the hearts and minds of many. And when people hear about things as these, they are torn up inside, just like myself here, because we don't like to see children being abused, and the whole entire thing of they being shut away and not given that voice to be heard. They're just being isolated from the whole entire picture of what happened to them. They are the one that have to deal with the trauma, the pain, because she's actually seen all these videos that have been circulating, and we just want to just keep that in mind as well based on what we're talking about, because she has a whole entire thing to deal with for herself.
Because it's one thing, you know, to be like, well, I'm not charged for it. I'm innocent of these charges. I'm innocent of
the ones that wanna like you not care for that.
Right. So it's like you're
accept it.
It's like how you move on though? Like
accept it, man.
Because it's a stain.
Alright, me tell you why I have to accept it. Remember, you know, the teacher say it's a tape. Yeah, man, rape. No, but for fun and joke aside, I accept it because my attorney said to me, say, dog, if I murder, you know.
Yeah.
You know? So, as a realist, no.
Let's stop. Because if you killed somebody, I feel like everybody will like, yeah, man, a bad man, good.
Yeah, man, and some people would be surprised.
Yeah. Well, you're a soldier, man.
Yeah.
But
mad army, man.
Yeah. I mean, as me say, me just have to just put things at the past, and that's why I'm there, so we don't know too. Because if you notice, one, after when this drop, yo, CMR, we not tell her be quiet, no chat, no one. You see me? But at the end of the day, if you notice on my platform, I don't say nothing about you and everybody. And so, sit down here, say one of that. Feel like people know, see you. At the end of the day, yo, listen, me a family man. You understand me? And only know that of me. You see what I say? And on see my viewpoint on certain topics. You know, everybody else who have their own opinion, you can formulate that, you can keep it to yourself, but you're not the judge, you're not the detective, you're not the juror, and you're not God. You understand me? And one of the greatest thing is me there so now. You know what I mean? Me there so now, and me still I do, you do. You understand me? People call me, see me, you know, ask advice, you know, where I go through them thing and I even realize, yo, my dog say, yo, dog, I don't even know what you do, even a killer myself.
Wow.
I mean, I say, me train, man. That's why God prepare in a layers. Him give you certain training in life, he prepare for certain things.
Yeah.
I wonder why I not have sons. Maybe because girls take care of them parents a bit more. And maybe something going to happen to me in the future, I'm going to need my daughter them. You know, my join the army, maybe I need resilience. Maybe I need to understand self-control a certain way. Right? You know, so a lot of things happen in your life, I'm going to call it the stepping stone theory. You know what I mean? And with the stepping stone theory is we meet you today and you have my fear for go home. I say, Harry, you can't give me 20 love. You give me that 20 love for go home and I've never seen you back, but you were there for that moment.
Right.
You know, so I think the Lord prepares you for certain things. Just like Naro and the fix. I know no go through moments when I say, yo, one day if we do the same way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I always telling you, you see me? If you put in the work, you're gonna be prepared for the future.
Yeah.
And if you are go your son, we only get the views and your son, this minute you go your son go back down. Consistency, you're gonna bring on up your son back and you're gonna be so professional to a level where you know how to conduct yourself, acquire these brandies. Remember, me can't show water upon anything again.
No, you can't.
You see me?
Unless it's straight vibes walking. No, that's why this didn't even so difficult for talk about, because I don't know if you did even see when we spoke about it and where I said, Jaja, this is difficult for talk about because you are somebody who has always been our caller.
Right.
Always acknowledge it, you know what I mean? But what I say, if it got go on, then, you know, like you have to deal with the consequences.
Yeah.
But as me talk about earlier with the steam, we talk about, at least you mentioned how, you know, how you would deal with it, but people deal with you differently since?
No, I know. Like, I went to Jamaica. Yeah, man, the airport, full, picture, everything. I just didn't vlog that moment. Like, in person, the love is like there. Like, CMR, we are root for you. Me no one, you know? But on the internet, it's different, which me not really, people, they behind the computer, they might probably just upset of what they're projecting, their insecurities on you or their failure or their, oh, I want this or I want that. And sometimes, you know what happen? I'll tell you what happen.
Links 007 TV will continue to track this story and have more details to come on this. Thanks for watching.